So we did a stream today. Jordan did a stream.
Mm-hmm.
Were you listening to it?
No, I didn't get a chance to listen to it.
I wasn't. I want feedback. Are we being too noisy out here to where it's picking up on the stream? If it is, then we'll deliver a case of shut the hell up.
Okay.
So.
Okay.
But let us know if they're picking up our conversations. Yeah, because players don't need our business.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Yeah, I'll. Hello, everybody, and thank you for joining us for Requiem Murder Hour number 38. I am CM Andrasyte, and joining me is the wonderful
CM Varitas.
Helium.
Yay! So thank you for coming to join us this week. Very quickly, we would like to show you guys the new daily quests that got put in this past maintenance for level 50s. You can start doing at level 50. Oop. And you can start doing, thank you. You can start by going to Nova Lux and go to the NPC Camiola. Here, you can access 8 different daily quests. I actually did a few today, so they're not all displaying right now. But, as you can see, they're all in progress. These quests, they're just going out, go kill a couple things, come back, and you get these wonderful new reinforcement success rate Xeons that are up your forge rate success by 10%. Now, the cool thing about these is that you can, once you get 4 of them, you can also go to the forge, go to the compound NPC, and you can combine them together to get even higher success rate chances, which is great. So I wanted to show you that real quick, and then I know a lot of you came in today because we are going to be answering a lot of questions from the community today, so we'll get right into that too as soon as we show you the wonderful compound.
Also wanted to mention with the quests, there is a little bit of a bug with the searching of the quest. If you click on search map on the quest itself, it's not going to give you a result, but if you type in the name of the monster that it says to hunt, you'll get a result, and you'll get a map location for it and everything, so you can track it. But next week, the tracking, when you click on the quest itself, should be fixed. A little bug with it.
Yes. So if you do experience that, just know that, like Helium said, we are aware of it.
And you can type in the monster name.
Yes. So here we are at the compounding NPC. As you can see, I have, where'd they go? 10 4 of the 10% success rates, because I did do some dailies today. So
Better
let's
have some land too.
Oh yes, I do need some land. I think that's the one thing that I am missing. I am a poor GM, unfortunately. But I'll show you how you guys do it. You put in the first one into the compound UI, then just select the recipe like so. And then
Auto register then.
yes. And then just make sure that you put in the correct amount into here, which you need 4 of the same type. You can see it down here. We have a 100% success rate. It also does cost some land, so there's a processing fee, so make sure that you bring some land with you, unlike me.
Can anyone loan $1 million land to the GM here?
It's okay, don't worry. But, so once you have the correct items and the correct amount of land, just hit OK and you'll get that wonderful, it will combine into a plus 15%. So you can do that daily. And what were the numbers?
Yeah, you can repeat that actually, that process, so that you can get a 15% with 4 of those, and then a 20% with 4 of those. And basically what it comes out to is either 120% a day or 4 15% a day or 16 10% a day. However you wanted to divvy it up. Yeah.
Yes. So that is now available in game. There's quests that start at level 50, and then there's also quests at level 90 that you can also do.
Right. So you only actually have access to half of that until you get to level cap, but yeah. So at 90 you get the full, you can get 120% a day or 4, yeah. But at the level 50, you're only looking at half of that.
Yes.
So
So we just wanted to show you guys real quick, just in case there was any questions. But now we will get into the questions that were submitted. We took a lot of questions from the forum. We're going to get through as many as we can today. Unfortunately, there was a lot, but whatever ones we can't get through, don't worry. We're going to post answers to the forum as well, just so that anyone who perhaps couldn't make it to the stream can still see the answers and know what's going on. In the meantime, in game, if you're joining us in game, I'm going to be in Nova Lux, and we're going to be summoning some monsters for you guys to have fun with while we answer all these questions.
Woot!
Woohoo!
Alright, so I guess we're going to try and shotgun through these things as quickly as possible, because you guys did leave a lot. We do apologize about last week. Our maintenance went a lot longer than we could actually.
it's actually in one of the questions even.
It is in one of the questions. We were going to try and do it later that day, but it ended up being too late by the time the servers went back up.
Mhm.
So we've got your guys' questions, and maybe in the future we can do more of these kind of Q&A things at the end of the month if you guys still have lots more questions. Okay, well, let's move forward. So, moving forward, first question is by One Old Cow. You think this game is worth playing?
I was just in game today. In fact, someone asked me if I was a geologist. It probably has something to do with my character name.
What's your character name?
It's an elemental.
Yeah, don't say your character name.
No, that's okay. I don't mind if they know who I am in game. Anyway.
Let me guess, is it
They're free to come
Helium?
PK me.
No.
No, I don't have that one actually. So-
All right. The next question is by you. I messed that up.
That would be
Kazara.
we know as
We know
Kazara.
who it is. Hi, Kazara, and we see that you're in chat.
I guess.
All right. So the question is, when will you start on existing content to improve it, Treasure Dungeon, for example, rather than working on more content item mall?
So he's talking about working on existing content and improving it. As soon as the transmogrify system, which should be about like next week, is done, I can revisit that. And there's a big project coming up actually having to do with that I can't go into more, but needless to say, it has a lot to do with examining the existing content and improving it actually.
Yes. And I just want to say the great thing about Transmogrify system is for me, specifically, will improve my gameplay in that I can distinguish myself from other game players by wearing whatever character costume I want to wear.
I did put some. We could demonstrate that later, but we'll
Okay.
we may
We'll move
save
forward.
that for the next stream
Yeah,
too.
we'll move forward. Radiant with a taunt. First question. Why have skill changes not been done? Why have armors not been fixed and balanced?
Okay, so I was going to get something for you guys, some official sort of statistics on what has been done so that I can go over that, but what we're going to end up doing is posting that later on in wherever, probably the forum, to go over basically the revisions that have gone in to see that there have been fixes and balancing changes done for skills and the armor and everything along the way, all the stuff that has happened. Basically, because it's not done doesn't mean we haven't done a lot of work on stuff already. So I just wanted to point that out, and that skill changes and balancing, in a sense, is never really done because the players will never stop requesting more changes to achieve more balance. But there is, needless to say, a lot of work to do there. So. Yeah.
Next question: why is Black Tower still a black map? It looks.
Yeah, so, well, no, let's say it. They say that it looks god-awful, and they say it's an embarrassment to the game, but, okay, so Black Tower is not the dark map, or the black map as they're calling it. That's the portal plane. That's a place that's not actually, it's not inside the Black Tower necessarily, but it's supposed to be black. It's intended. There's no light there. It's creepy and scary, and there are minions and mobs that come out of the dark at you, and it's intended, basically. And that's not the Black Tower. Black Tower is actually just that little room that you stage in before you go into the portal plane, actually. So, yeah.
And the next question.
Nothing embarrassing about it.
Yeah. So why are you adding pay-to-win item mall instead of adding smart mall items?
Okay, so we took this question even though it was obviously big, but yeah. So we wanted to make sure to point out some things about what's been going into the item mall recently. So, first of all, there was the sealed revisions to the item mall, basically making all the item mall items sealed seems smart when considering the typical way one scam goes in game, where someone offers to give you something after they receive something and then they vanish and you've been scammed and that's no good. That used to happen a lot. I doubt that happens much anymore since the conversion of the sealed items to the item mall. So you got costume swaps. Now, customizing character appearance is as cheap as it was to say in the past buy a costume every 30 days. Say you want to change your appearance every 30 days. You can do that now because of the costume swaps. You don't have to buy a new one, re-enchant it, and yeah, something you're not going to go through is now convenient, maybe worth going through to differentiate yourself from another player. It's an aesthetic change. It's not pay to win. Okay. Then there's, let's see, oh yeah, there was also the people took their event costumes and turned them into permanent costumes, and that was kind of a benefit. We wanted people that had saved up their event costumes that they really liked over that long period of time, say they wanted to turn it into a permanent costume, now they could do that with the swap item. That was great. That was an unintended, but now that it's done, I like it. Anyway, yeah, moving on. So.
Yeah.
Wanted to also say that having higher success chance to increase items in the item mall has always been the case. There was 10% in there. There always was. Now I've made it 25%, but I haven't increased the cost of the item. That at the same cost, you get 25%, and you can also get up to 20% in-game now, whereas before you could only get up to 9%. So I don't know how you call that pay to win either. So anyway.
All right. Why are you not active on the forums?
Okay, so I wear too many hats, and in the past, it's been the case that I was wearing the community manager hat as well, but not anymore. And thanks to lots of helpful people and staff we have here now, I don't have to have as much of a presence on the forums. In fact, little at all now. Now, when I did say I was going to become more active on the forums, someone called me out on that. Yeah, I didn't intend to tell a lie, but I haven't become more active on the
Well, a
forums.
lot has gone on. A lot of
That's been
changes, a lot has gone on. And on top of that, we have a new community manager who
Right.
you can all see. There she is. But the important thing is, the producers, they need to concentrate on trying to get the content out. Meanwhile, our lovely community manager will be collecting your ideas and suggestions and hopefully bringing a lot of your concerns to us as opposed to just kind of going on the fly. We want to try and organize the future of everyone's ideas, suggestions, thoughts, and we really want to kind of concentrate on that as opposed to distracting or handling things that really...
I don't want to take attention away from the actual front line, which is our community manager right here.
Yeah.
And it will be helpful to do that.
Okay,
Yep.
so moving on.
The transmograph.
Why are you adding transmogrify and costume design items instead of improving the game and increasing player base?
I'm not. Improving the game and increasing the player base are not mutually exclusive with adding new aesthetic and convenience systems. So basically, to that question, there's no answer because we are improving. They're not mutually exclusive. So.
Why are bot users not banned? Why are hackers not banned? And why are bug users not banned and penalized?
If it is the case, then it's because they're not caught. Those that get caught are suspended. I was going to pull data on this too, but we'll have to, again, in this case, I'll make reference to something we're going to post after this live stream to back up what I'm saying, but that we do have a long history of suspending people that basically behave in a way that violates the terms of agreement to use the service.
Yeah, we did want to have the stats ready for you guys, but they're taking a bit longer to gain. But hopefully, when we put up this, the answers to your questions, we'll go ahead and add that information. We can't give any public information because public information is...
There have been a lot of calls for that, for us to publicly post lists of people suspended. We don't do that.
But what we can do is give you numbers and, just kind of give you a heads up, last month, how many people were suspended and how many people are currently blocked.
Right.
We can't give actual names, but there is work being done. But the important thing is you need to send in a petition to the GMs. We are not GMs.
We have a support department. They do
Yeah.
this job. Utilize them.
Yes, and they are the ones with the authority to truly ban to all hell.
They'll investigate and they'll ban people
Yeah.
for
So
bad
next
behavior.
question.
Yeah.
Why are why are you adding events that are bottable, farmable by only the elite geared players?
So the question presumes a false premise. Okay, so we're not adding content only farmable by elite geared players, just as we demonstrated today with the daily quests. This is a level 50 thing that any level 25 in a group should be able to do, but a level 50 can easily do. It just takes you a little time. So it's not only accessible to the elite geared players. So it also has a relevance issue with bottable. I'm not going to design a quest not to be bottable. That doesn't come into the design really. It's kind of irrelevant. If someone's botting, they should get reported and they should get suspended. But
Just
whether-
report them to warportal.support.com.
Yeah. Everything's bottable.
So we're gonna kind of move on to other things. How many players actually even play this game? We can't really give specific stats to that, but we can give a general idea. So it'll
Still
have,
thousands of you every month still.
yeah, there are still, thousands of unique
Yeah.
users. How many times has your Black Tower dungeon been completed? Again, that is a stat that we needed to look up.
Right, I actually didn't get time to do that either. I know it's been completed, since its inception, it's been completed over 200 times, but, yeah, as far as, say, last month or the month before that, I didn't have time to get the stat ready for that.
Alright, next question, which is a little bit of a, let's see,
Fun.
are we gonna answer that? Or-
I crossed these out.
Alright, where are we at?
I'll just say that. Yeah.
So why cancel the stream 30 minutes after it was delayed instead of streaming answered questions in person?
We went over that.
Yes, so as said before, maintenance period went longer than expected. Unfortunately, we couldn't.
It was network hardware that was being worked on actually.
Yeah,
we
physically.
really couldn't
We
actually
really couldn't
do
connect
anything.
or do anything.
So the next question is why exactly do you keep adding 40% HP in game when everyone hates it and you said yourself you don't want it in game?
Okay, so there was some 40% that were added in recently. The last time was the melons, I don't believe, had the 40%. So the last time was the July? Was it in July? Oh, it was the June event that was extended into July when those were available. And then they were removed in August, right? So to say we're still doing it is not exactly accurate, but also I don't remember saying that I don't want them in a game. I think they don't belong in the item vault. And I also don't think people actually hate them because you wouldn't be complaining about them if everyone actually hated them. And they're highly sought after. They are overpowered, and the preference is to restrict their availability. We don't want people to have them all the time. It's supposed to be a limited event kind of boost, and that's it.
So why did you steal everyone's items they farmed last event except for the costumes when the only thing people wanted removed was the 40% HP instead you let people use, then for an additional month.
So this is from the last question, leads right into this question. Now, the items from the event were used. They were expired or removed with the event content as announced. The event items were never stolen, but enjoyed during the event, plus the following month that we gave people to use them. So and they will be again. That's
Right.
it.
And then here's another kind of interesting question. There's a video that shows a conversation with you and Voltpix. You say you do not ban hackers or botters because there are less players. So people quitting because of these cheaters is not less players make these hacking bots public. Why does only a select few of the community benefit from it?
So with regards to the video, I've not seen it yet, but I'm going to. I've been informed all about it though. So basically, I believe the instance that is being referred to was the case of when we implemented the new detection systems and the cheat prevention or anti-hack systems that we have. And when we did that, I found logs led to 10% of the population, as much as 10% of the population used at some point one of these things. Now at that point they were all being prevented and all being kicked for using them, and perhaps now today they found some other way, and in those cases you need to use our support department and you need to report them so that we can figure that out and we can be right on the leading edge of these things. But I wasn't going to go and ban 10% of the population on the week of an implementation of a new anti-hack because they were all busted. So the fact that they were getting kicked out constantly while using these was good enough at that point. I just wasn't going to do it, but we do ban them regularly. It's not like because I didn't do a mass ban of 10% of the population that day that we don't take up cases, investigate them, and if we find a user that's guilty of something like that, or that's guilty of violating terms in any way, we take action.
Alright, so the next question is from Don't Click Me.
Uh-huh.
Will we see a new map or old map recycled for capped player content wise in the near future? Inclusive dungeons that have minions and not only one boss.
I have a simple answer for this, yes.
Do you intend to increase the difficulty of the different monster types in game?
Probably, yes.
Besides daily quests, do you plan to implant race and class specific quests to highlight unique roleplay aspects?
That's something that sounds great for the future. We don't have any current plans, but it's a possibility.
Will there ever be more items implanted that don't have inflation, like clan legendary items? Oh.
Oh, yeah. Oh, wait. This, oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. So, can I ask the question again? Sorry.
Will there ever be more items implanted that don't have inflation, like the planned legendary items?
Okay, so yes, but we aren't gonna put in the legendary items until we've addressed, as we've already discussed, problems that exist in the content as it is now. So we're gonna revise the current stuff before we go implementing all the new stuff.
Class balancing and differentiation, will it ever progress in the future?
So we've sort of covered this in other answers, but yes, that's the answer.
Do you consider your game in good shape and form?
I say yes, but good is a very ambiguous or relative term. Nothing's perfect, but we stopped the zone server crashes, if you remember. We stopped the Battlefield server crashes, if you remember. We stopped the client crashes because of the new armor shoulders on the Berserkers, if you remember. Among other fixes that have been good for stability. So my answer is yes, but there's lots of room for improvement there.
When will the Vile Battlefield Blood be unattached?
Don't have any plans for that.
When will they be able to convert arena points into coupons?
So an exchange system is something that we've considered but not yet really planned. New currency is going to be coming out soon with the transmogrify system, but yeah, as far as conversion goes, yeah, it's something for us to plan.
Next question. When Atma Infinity and puzzles from raid bosses can be sold at auction and in personal store?
For those, no plans right now, but we could consider something with that.
When the sealed items of the game store can be put in the bank safe?
Now this one I was a little confused about because I thought that the sealed items could be put in your bank, but it may be the case that they can't, and in which case I can change those. Yeah.
Let's see. When will the expansion store be added to the game store?
I wasn't sure on that question. What did they meant by expansion store. Maybe they just meant, if you take the word stored out, it's like, when will the expansion be added to the game? Maybe that's actually the question, but I'd like to get clarification on that, because I don't know what the answer is.
Next questions are from Kagi. Will the game close?
Nope.
When are you going to add 10 to 20% daily enchantment compound coupons?
Wait, you forgot the soon part. I think
Oh.
when I'm dead, maybe the game might close then, I don't know.
Oh. Got it.
It's up to you guys if you're still alive. So, no.
Okay.
Yeah, so what was the next one? The 10%, 20% daily. Okay, so on the rates, I'm not guaranteeing any special rates, but higher than 10% success should be seen soon for compounding and enchanting systems. We'll do the same sort of thing for those systems, but it'll be different, and it'll be different to scale for those systems too. So.
What are we supposed to do with the 6 to 9% reinforcement coupons we previously crafted with Infinity Atmos?
Now, the 9%, yeah, at first, my answer to this initially was nothing, do with them what you will, but since then I've sort of been, after talking to community people here and thinking about it some more, yeah, okay, so they may have put a lot of Infinity Atmos into those, might look into something to do with those.
Something for the future.
Yeah, nothing is in stone yet.
Yeah. And the next one the next couple of questions are from Katie. Do you see the recent update regarding the Forge system as a positive change to the game?
Yeah, I see it as a positive change.
Can you confirm that this new Forge system was introduced to increase the sale of War Portal points, turning the game once again into an even more pay-to-win game?
Sorry, I can't confirm that, but I will confirm that it wasn't planned to increase sales necessarily. That was planned to make the reinforcing system more, and its benefits, or obtaining its benefits, more accessible to all players, and even easily accessible for paid players. But yeah, it was a broadening of the accessibility of that system. It wasn't an increase in the item or the sales. It wasn't done for increased sales.
As I am sure you would mention the fact that you added daily quests as an alternative from using item all, this brings me to my next question. Are you aware that it would take a player almost more than 2 years to finish one character to plus 30, not including enchants? And this would only be if you gave 50% reinforcement rate, not the current 25% rate we have been getting. Do you think it is reasonable to ask a current and new players to take almost 2 years to gear a character?
No. No, it's not reasonable to take 2 years to gear your character. So we're looking at, we're aiming for a little less than a year here. And also, when I did the math, so we're looking at, depending on the server rate bonuses you get, it could be anywhere between 180 days out to a little over 500 days. Now that high end is a little high, and I'm actually considering making it so that you can make the compounded Xeons with only 3 instead of 4. So that would chop off a third of the time to get the increased amounts, basically. So then we'd be capping out for a full set of armor, say 6 pieces at plus 30, you could do that in less than a year. And that was at a 70%. If we'd only did a 25% bonus, in less than a year, you could do a full armor set at plus 30, or an upgrade, 30 upgrades on 6 pieces in like around 300 days at plus 75%. So yeah, that was just, it all scales to what the bonuses are that you get, and basically how many, how much you need, because obviously you don't need plus 75% all the time. So you can work it up to that, and you only actually need to get 3 20% and have a 25% server rate bonus only on certain, the last end of, or say even the last 15, the last half, let's say. That's only 15 of the reinforcements that you need to actually combine all 3 items and have the best success chance. It's not like, basically to sum up, less than a year. That's the answer. I tend to trail on.
Yes. So in the end, no, it was not intended to take that long. We are working to get it to about less than a year to be able to do that. But we are going to crunch the numbers. So we'll find a better balance. Moving on. Regarding the new daily quests, I have several questions. Do you realize that these are all level 90 quests? Would you consider changing the level of all these quests so that lower levels are not being penalized? Are you aware that you have given a daily for Lord Warren Newman who does not reset daily? Would you consider changing his resets to daily?
Okay, they haven't done the quests, clearly. The quests don't target the raid boss. They target a clone, and if you read the quest, you discover that these are cloned monsters by the Ixenic organization because they're being harvested by Temperians for parts that are needed by the Forge blacksmiths. That's what the quest says. Anyway, so the targets for the quest aren't the raid bosses themselves, they're actually clones of them that are available if you search the map, or they're in alternate Novolux, and they're in Novolux and Chase Sanctum and across Turba, or actually right around Chase Sanctum and Turba. Anyway, the point is to say that the Lord Ware-Newman that's a raid boss is not the target for the quest, and that the question was asked before. I think we added in an additional 9 quests that are available at level 50. So now 9 quests at level 50, 9 quests at level 90, it splits it up. Anyone below level 50 doesn't really need to stack their success chances, so they can reinforce their gear. It's cheap, and the success chances are very high for low level gear. You can just reinforce it without any bonuses. So yeah.
Are you planning to add new better Xeons for compounding and enchanting to item wall and as daily quests?
We covered this. Yes, there will be some form or system for acquiring higher success than 10% on those systems. Forges.
Considering all above questions, would you reconsider this new forge system, or at least give us some guaranteed forge rates that are going to encourage people to play again and not give up on this game?
Consider and reconsider rates, sure, yes, but guarantee any rate for every period, no.
Yeah. Are you willing to accept that the new Black Tower armor is the most unbalanced this game has ever saw? The huge differences in damage and HP, which have never had such huge range differences before, differences. Are you willing to use your time to improve this armor to be balanced in the way it should always have been?
Okay, so the easy answer is yes, but there's a much more complicated answer, which is like urinal tower weapons, for instance, when they were released comparatively, were way overpowered, but they were more balanced. So there are issues of balance, and they probably are the most imbalanced armor sets between classes, but I am willing to revisit and fix those. It hasn't happened yet because of all the things, and like I said, I don't have the huge list to give you right here, but we'll post it later on the things that have been taking up my time, basically.
Right. So the next couple of questions did not have an IGN or unknown.
Or
So,
they were additional.
yeah. Are you happy with the development of the game since you've taken over from Alteris?
My answer for that is not exactly, perhaps happy, but not satisfied necessarily, because the work's not done, there's a lot to do, and a lot of players aren't satisfied, so yeah.
So, why did you not consider the list given to you by the community of suggestions for the item wall that would not create any imbalance, rather than add items based on forge and imbalance? List was sent to you, CM Varitas, and CM Andrasyte.
So I did, and consideration is not implementation. However, we're not seeing items based on forge being the only thing that was done in the item wall doing the forge was that I, for the same cost, gave you a 25% instead of a 10%, and then gave you 20% for free in game. So yeah, and a lot of the suggestions that came from players had to do with aesthetic and appearance change things, and those have been done. We have taken those requests and we have given you those things. A lot of the requests were actually rather imbalanced or rather pay to win for the item wall, so we didn't necessarily filter through those.
Alright, next question. Why did you boost some magic classes so much with damage and or HP and penalize some melee classes with ridiculously low damage? Example, Warlord damage being not much more than 2k, Ranger and Kami hitting just for over 4k, while casters can hit 5k plus in HP build and 6 to 7k plus in damage build.
Okay, so there is a problem having to do with what we were just discussing with the armors and the imbalances between magic and melee users. So that will be addressed, but there also is underlying issue here between Magic and Melee users in the game. It's always been imbalanced between the Magic user has always had a slight advantage, and the developers have actually done some things to try to lessen that advantage, but there is an issue there that we do have to discuss.
When do you think the lifespan of Requiem will end?
So that would be wild speculation at this time. I'd rather not make wild speculation, so I don't have an answer for that.
There really is no answer. I mean, the game will continue to go as long as we can. Was the recent Forge update introduced to the game as a last-ditch attempt to make money before the game closes?
I think I gone over that. No, I didn't do that one to make money. I did do the costume swaps to make money, but yeah, it's totally an aesthetic thing. It's your choice whether you want to appear this way or not. But the recent changes, the item wall, for broadening access to the Forge, not for sales.
Yeah. What do you have planned for the future of this game?
So that'll require basically a whole nother live stream, and we'll have to plan that out and go over that in the near future too. Yeah.
When skill balance will be continued?
So this month actually, and throughout the rest of the year alongside other projects, we'll work on revising skill assets will be implemented over a number of patches.
I noticed a huge loss of population when you started working on item all. Can you confirm it?
So the question is another false premise buried in the question. We have had a population loss, but it's been a slow and steady population loss over the last year or so. It's or even longer actually. Yeah, the population loss has been really a slow trickle for a very long time. So, like I said before, we still have thousands of unique views out there every month, and we're working to maintain that and then grow it in the near future too. So.
Yeah. When Druid will get skill changes, it's the most broken class in terms of power, being able to stun 15 seconds and at the same time immune to stuns.
Everyone's got a most broken class. So being able to stun and being immune to stun, or even combined, does not really make that's not what makes a broken class necessarily. But the imbalance between classes does, and so I'm not going to really go into specifics on any particular class. Needless to say that we did discuss having to go over skill balance.
When dummy pets will be updated?
So, like I said, with the skill changes we're going to do for start working on this month, and for the rest of the year, we'll have several patches going in. There will be some changes that will affect Dominator, likely to affect some of the pets. So I've got nothing specific there, but yeah, this year.
Will Attack of Curse be back as skill?
I'd still like to experiment with Defiler's ability to drain abilities from their targets. But Attack of Curse, as it was in its previous iteration, no.
Alright, I think, so that was kind of the...
Burned through.
Yes, which was the point, because now I kind of want to go over, so some of the things that have been really big, and it has come up several times in these questions. Alright, I'll get into that thingy so you can actually see me. Has been the whole, is the game ending? No, the game is not ending. We're not sure where that rumor came about, but we are still going. In fact, we have some big changes, and I know some of those changes were brought up by some of our players, one of those being the break situation. So one of the issues that players had brought up was the fact that they thought it was unfair that, you know, you spend all this time and money and that your item can break and basically go off into the nether, into the land of who knows where.
Yeah.
One of the things that I know that it has come up, and I know that Helium has agreed with, is that really sucks and is unfair. So that is something that we want to change.
It's going to happen.
Yeah, so while we might not take away the fail option, what we do want to take away is...
Degrade even too.
Yeah, may degrade is, we don't want your stuff to break. We understand that you guys spend a lot of money and time into these weapons and these armors. We want to take that off. And
so that'll mean no more sales of the reinforcement insurance. But
yeah.
That's okay.
So we can go ahead and get rid of that, but that's okay. You know, some of the things also, we actually wanted to show, or as Andrasyte had shown, there is a way to get up to 70% or close to it.
With a 25% server bonus, which is what we've done in the last, over the couple of last weekends, you can get a 75% every 3 days you can get 3 20% combined to make 60% plus the server 20%. That's 85%. I'm sorry. You can get an 85% bonus every 3 days on a single piece of gear upgrade.
Yeah, the nice thing about this is you're not waiting for us to activate something. So it allows you as a player to do it on your own whenever you want, and you don't have to wait for us to do the 72% or 70% bonuses. Although, we do want to move forward with doing more bonuses over the weekends. You know, it's a popular thing amongst most of our games. So one of the things you guys could probably count on, and I know that was a question in here, is what can we count on as bonuses? We can't give you exact bonus time amounts, but what we can say is we do plan to have bonuses pretty consistent every weekend.
And you can count on being able to earn these items to do whenever you want to in game all the time. That's the point, really. And then when we do the weekend bonuses, you're going to be using them together with the items, and you're going to get like,
Yeah.
People having an obsession with the 70% success chance increase thing needs, you can earn that without having to wait for me to turn it on.
And we
That
did.
needs to happen.
Yeah, and we did listen. We didn't, it was kind of an oversight that we didn't, that the whole level 90 thing. Now we have some level 50 versions so that lower levels can go in and get their own forge bonuses. You know, you're not just waiting for us to do it. We wanted a way for you guys to be able to do it without waiting just on us. Because that kind of sucks because sometimes it gets turned off.
Right,
You know,
sometimes it doesn't happen, sometimes it gets turned off, and also there was just with enchanting, it was like, you couldn't fail. That wasn't quite right.
Let's see, some of the other major issues, what am I missing? There's some big issues I wanted to cover.
Yeah.
I know Katie suggested doing more, these are not pay to win, just basically more cosmetic things.
Right.
We are actually,
Exactly what I've been doing.
yeah, but we're working on it. So
Yeah.
the thing I want to bring forth is we're trying to find a way to produce more cosmetic items that you guys can use to, make your characters more unique to yourself. And I know that Kazara did bring up the whole break-it thing, so I want to kind of give a shout out and say, yes, we did listen. We are working on getting that done, but we do have to work with our programmers amongst their time to get that taken care of.
Yes.
Well, it's coming really soon, though. The break chances for the sure.
Yeah, so it's all down the line. We also are kind of going through that big old list of bugs you guys have left on our forums for years. And our GMs are working hard to compile the bugs that you guys have sent in or over the years to a big document that we want to try and handle. We can't do them all at once, but we're trying to handle them one at a time. So while we can't do anything fast, as Kazara and a few others have brought up, we are working to improve the current game in order to make it less crazy.
You should see some of
Yes.
those bugs get mentioned in patch notes every time.
Yes.
you patch. At least one or so.
Yes. And me and Andrasyte have looked at the messages, and I have included Helium on the messages on the forums. So while he's not there, we are kind of bringing him up to his attention.
Yes.
Yeah,
It's not that-
they poke me every day.
Yeah, it's not that he's not getting poked, it's that we're trying to remind him and making it more palatable so we can fit each thing into a schedule. So in order to get this all done, we want to make sure that we have a schedule that we can adhere to, keep to, and that you guys can kind of count on. It may be slow in coming, but we do want to do that for you guys. Requiem is not going anywhere, it's gone through a lot of changes, and we're actually hoping by the end of the year to have a really big change to announce to you guys, in hopes that, and we hope you all enjoy it. I know that I've been tasking poor Blueberry with going over quests for me,
Yes.
and hopefully it'll not all be for naught.
Yeah, we covered that, Bloody Gamer.
Yes.
We did cover that, and I didn't intend to lie, but yes, I have stepped back from the forums.
Yes.
And the post remains on the forums saying, I'm going to come back and I'm not stepping back from the forums. But things have changed. We got a new community manager in the meantime, and a lot of things have changed. I've been very busy with the stuff that I'm doing, which, like I said, we'll go over. We'll post lists of these things after this.
Yes, and Yugi, we still have your balance suggestions from many, many eons ago. Don't worry, we haven't forgot
Yes.
them.
They haven't
We
been
still have
deleted.
them.
And
Yeah.
if you do have any like new or additional suggestions, or if you just want to bring something to our attention again, post it on the forums, PM me, PM Varitas. We would be more than happy to send it to Helium, and they do get reviewed and considered. So don't feel like your voices aren't being heard. They are.
Yeah, and 099 Kaz, arena points are needed, but there are no arenas. We are aware of this.
Yes.
Oh, well, the leaderboards actually award the server battle points now. The leaderboards.
So the
The
leaderboards.
battlefield leaderboards for all battlefields
Okay.
reward you server battle points. So but that's not totally addressing the issue, but that
No.
helps. That is a way to acquire it.
Yes. But I know one of the things that has come up is we don't have as many battlefields as we used
We
to.
don't have a server battle anymore.
So we need to so one of the things that has come up and is coming up over and over again is how can we bring more people to the arenas or to the battlefields. We are happy to take suggestions on that. We've discussed a few things like doing events and stuff, but we obviously want to make sure that we get something or do something that you guys actually want to do. So feel free to go to our forums and feel free to give us suggestions, and we will go over them and we'll look at them and we'll see what we can do. As you all know, we are very limited in many respects, but at the same time, we have a lot of freedom to do stuff.
Yeah, freedom to do stuff, but can you do it alone? Okay.
See, so Crystal Evil 95 is asking, can you answer which will be the max rates you will give for Forge?
There is no max. There's no min. There's no. Yes, last time we did 25% over the weekend on reinforcement. It may be higher or lower. We're not going to be nailed down on those things. So.
Yeah, so
There will be bonus rates. Together with the items you earn in game, you will be able to achieve what you had before. That's the simple answer.
yeah, we just don't have an actual number to give.
I don't want to say in advance too that on these dates specifically is when that tends to make people just sit and wait or leave the game even until that time comes, and then they come back and do that thing. It's not something that we want to pattern out in advance. It's bonuses. It's exciting and it happens. It's like, yay, there's an event, but you didn't necessarily know you were going to get that rate at that time.
Yeah.
The rates you earn are in the items in the game. So when there's an event, check it out. See if there's a bonus rate. You may be surprised.
Woot. Let's see, what were some of the other...
They'll go higher than 25% eventually.
Yes.
Yes.
Needless to say.
Alright, so, I'm just gonna read it. Oh, I've done a balance suggestions, yeah. I already talked about them. Sorry, I'm going back through the list of thoughts that were expressed. Also, in regards to the players, no, it's not that we're not banning them, it's just that they are banned. They can't, as far as the bot hackers, they can't actually get into the game. Now, there are a few hacks that unfortunately have gotten through, but we are working with our programmer to get that taken care of. It's kind of, it's like any type of virus scam or whatever. You have to constantly update because darn, those guys are tricky.
Yes.
Right. There was mention that there's more than just 6 feet. It's all your gear, right? So all your gear needs to be reinforced or whatever. Okay, but again, you're not going to have to use 20% success chance increases on your first reinforcement of a piece of gear. Duh. It's going to... Okay, so there's a range and there's a scale of how much you need to basically boost your success chances to not get the item to fail when you reinforce it. So there's a big range there. You're only going to need the maximum amount of success chance increase once you reach a certain point at reinforcing an item. So it's not like, let's say you start at plus 10 automatically. Okay, well then that means you're only doing 20 per item right there. So it's, anyway, yeah.
Alright, see. So, Crystal Evil 95 made a comment of, people told me you ask about you can change rate broken reinforcement.
That is a big thing too. And once that is done, then it's not even a matter of like, I totally need 320% every time I touch this item because it could break. So then it's more of a, do I want to waste another month doing this because I didn't use 320%? It's less of an issue of, oh my god, I'm going to have to quit the game if I fail on this because it's just too much effort I put into it. yeah, if we take away the break chances, that'll go a long way towards the amount of time you have to put into it won't seem as troublesome as if you don't have to reacquire the item from scratch again.
Yeah, makes it easy. Let's see, what are some of the things we wanna, let's talk about, so we talked about the break issues. Is there anything else that we, want to kind of move or bring up, or?
There were lots of things, but I'm not remembering right now.
So we are working on getting the new loyalist and.
Oh, that's right.
Yes.
And we want to do a special event with the release of those too.
We will. So we're a little late on 4th of July, but that's okay.
Oh, you guys have seen him teased, at least some of them.
Yeah.
Yes.
One race of them, maybe just one side, teased in the images for the.
I think
the new daily
I shared
quests.
some more pictures on,
That reminds me, I have to get screenshots for you of all of them.
Okay.
So I will do that.
yes. So we got them back from the model, or not modelers, the
Yeah.
artists.
Yeah, there's two artists.
And now it's just kind of testing.
They look pretty good, I
Mhm.
think.
Yes,
Yeah.
they look great.
I haven't released them yet because we want to do a sort of event with the release, but you'll hear about that
So
soon.
Yin Miguel never understood having armor break and deteriorate rate at all back in Bloody Mare. So it's interesting that you bring that up, because that was actually a function that was very popular in many Asian games back then when Requiem was being made. In fact, I always try and remind people that there was a game I played where I had an item that took several months, an entire guild to create. We all got together and we tried to enchant it, broke.
Yeah.
All of that, and there's nothing, that at that time there was no such thing as an item mall, so you couldn't like buy a thing to save.
To ensure.
Nope, that did not exist in that time,
In
so.
Bloody Mare reinforcement actually didn't exist necessarily, but you could break things on compounding to the next. Like people would try to compound their Alterius stuff up to Poten stuff of the same type, and it would break when they tried to do that. That was
Yeah.
the issue with
Mm.
Bloody Mare, but there wasn't actually deterioration rate and break for reinforcement because reinforcement wasn't introduced until I believe it may have been before Memento Mori, or it may have been with Memento Mori.
But yeah, so it is a function that was very much kind of a aspect of games, MMOs of the day.
Mhm.
Now, in other MMOs that are out today, that is not so much the case. I can't name the names of the MMOs, but I'm sure you can all think of some very popular ones that don't have that in the game. They just either fail or they don't, or they just move forward. But
I remember playing quite a few MMO when I pro too.
yeah, no, I mean it's just
It's a variety.
it was a thing that happened in a lot of games during that time. And you know, this game is now 9 years old, 12 if you count the Korean release.
years.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So it's a very much an older game that is feeling those old game design aspects.
It's got some older game design too.
So, Helium, what you ask about macro on game AFK, a game,
So for macros and stuff, you got to report these people
Yes.
because a lot of it has been, say, detected or prevented, but there's a leading edge here. There's always going to be something that is getting around your current systems, and there's always going to be someone who's behaving in a way that's against the terms of service. We need those people to be reported so that we can catch up with those things. And any macros that are still working, for instance, I'm not denying that there are, but please help us by reporting to support.
Yes.
That's all it takes.
Because the support team is the one who would be handling those types of issues and
They'll
going through and
investigate it.
checking. They will investigate it, and they'll take care of any issues like that. So please, we do need you to report them if you do see them.
In addition to that, and to handling an individual case or suspending a user, they'll also take that data and I'll get that, I'll receive, say, like, we had a number of reports of using this specific kind of macro going on, and then I'll hear about that from the support team so that we can address it maybe on the client side rather than through the support team. But in the meantime, while on the leading edge of cheating and hacking, you have to report it.
so when will the new weapons?
Well, like I said, we have some stuff to do on the existing content before we go and releasing a bunch more new content. These little things we've been doing over the last few weeks have been basically things that I stopped working on what I was working on to address the need for these things, right? Like the forge system, the reinforcing stuff. it only took a few days to do, and it needed to be done right away. So, because we weren't doing the 70% bonuses on weekends anymore, you guys were really upset. Totally understood that. Had to address it right away. So yeah.
Question
Oh,
gamer.
I think
That was actually one of the stats we wanted to. We'll have to look up. They weren't ready.
Better
but
than last month, for instance.
Yes.
Yeah.
We have those stats, and we'll post them after.
Yeah, we'll post them afterwards.
Yep.
The macro built into the game, actually the original developers did build a combat macro into the game. We told them at the time we didn't want to put it in the item mall because that's where they wanted to sell it, and we haven't implemented it since, but I could look into it. But making the game more like Ragnarok Journey, for instance, another title that we have, I don't know if that's really a good idea, but I mean, it can be considered, but I don't know.
Well, that's Kazara. That's just report it. Tell the War Portal support. Because the important thing to
Don't
remember is
report
we're
it
not.
here.
Don't report it here
To
to War Portal support. We're not GMs.
Mhm.
We don't handle that, but they will be able to go ahead and take care of that. And we do need proof. So if you've got something, give them a name, video, whatever you need, and they'll go ahead and check it out.
I would totally use AoEs on empty spawns for minutes right next to you, just to annoy you, Kaz.
Um,
Okay, moving on.
Yeah, looks like dang, look at all those people killing
Yeah.
a poor dragon.
Poor dude Shiraz. It's okay though. He's being a jerk, so we can boop him and bop him. Okay, but yes.
Yeah, I do regularly, and not recently, but I will go and take a look over the history of cases, make sure support is seeing what they need to be seeing and understanding what they need to be understanding when it comes to investigating these things.
Yeah.
Mhm.
But yeah, when there are cases of clear things going on, and our support team, say, has new members on it that don't necessarily see these things yet, I will regularly go and take a look at some of the cases to make sure that things are being addressed right. So
Mhm.
yeah.
Like that.
Report it to support.
Yeah. All right, so we are now 11:59. Anything we want to say or
Last words.
last words?
anything?
So this has been the Requiem Murder Hour. Please, like us, save us. I don't know, all the things.
Follow up on that. There
Help
was
us.
sorry, there
Make
was
the game
one
better
thing
for
I
you.
did want to mention since you did bring up the costumes were coming out soon.
Yeah.
Today is the last day for our screenshot contest on our Facebook, and one of the prizes is once those costumes do come out in game, if you are chosen as a winner, you do get one of those costumes along with some item all points. So make sure you enter if you want to have a chance at getting one of those costumes. But yes.
Woo!
Woo!
Awesome.
So, fortunately, we're out of time. Thank you so much for joining us. We try to get as many questions as we can. If you do have further questions, feel free to shoot us a PM.
And the stream is posted later,
Yes.
so you guys can watch the video to get the answers you may have missed if you just came in right now, for instance.
Yes, so we will be posting a link, more than likely later on, for a link to this video, so that if you did miss some of the stream, part of the stream, you can go back, rewatch it, and get any of the answers that you may have missed. Again, we will post the answers on the forums, just in case anyone did miss the stream. You can have 2 ways to find out all the answers now. So, again, but thank you for joining us. I wish I could supply Lord 300 forever, but unfortunately, everything must come to an end.
No.
Good things have to come to an end. I'm sorry. I would stay here all night if I could and just spawn them all
You have
day.
to stay here all night and just spawn Lord 300 all night.
Anyways, thank you again for joining us and for answering or for giving us your questions. I am CM Andrasyte.
I'm C. Veritas.
Helium.
It was great having you guys. Thank you again, and good night.
Night.
Make confetti out of the dragon.